Before dawn on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, the Pacific Ocean lay calm around the Hawaiian island of Oahu. The United States was not at war. For most Americans, the conflict raging across Europe and Japan's expansion in Asia felt distant, dangerous, but removed from everyday life. On the mainland, it was early Sunday morning. Families slept in. Radios were quiet. The nation still believed it had time. At Pearl Harbor, sailors aboard the Pacific Fleet were waking slowly, preparing for inspections, breakfast, and what they expected to be an ordinary day at anchor. Battleships rested in neat rows along Battleship Row, their massive steel hulls reflecting the soft light of dawn. Anti-aircraft guns were unmanned or locked. Ammunition was stored away. Few imagined that within minutes, this quiet harbor would become the center of a global turning point. Just beyond the horizon, history was already in motion. 6 Japanese aircraft carriers, having crossed more than 3,000 miles of open ocean in total radio silence, were now positioned to strike. This force, known as the Kido Butai, represented the most powerful carrier task force ever assembled at that time. Its mission was bold, unprecedented, and risky: to cripple the United States Pacific Fleet in a single surprise attack, buying Japan the time it believed it needed to secure a vast empire across East and Southeast Asia. The origins of that morning stretched back decades. Japan, an island nation with limited natural resources, had long viewed expansion as a necessity for survival. During the 1930s, Japanese forces invaded Manchuria and later launched a full-scale war against China. These campaigns demanded enormous quantities of oil, steel, and raw materials, much of which Japan imported. The United States watched these developments with growing concern. American leaders condemned Japanese aggression and supported China diplomatically and economically. As the war in Asia intensified, Washington responded with increasing pressure, culminating in the freezing of Japanese assets and, in July 1941, a complete embargo on oil exports to Japan. For Japan's leaders, the oil embargo was not merely an economic measure, it was an existential threat. Without access to oil, Japan's Navy and Air Force would grind to a halt within months. Diplomacy continued through the autumn of 1941, with Japanese envoys negotiating in Washington, even as military preparations accelerated. Trust on both sides was thin. Each government believed the other was acting in bad faith. Behind closed doors in Tokyo, the decision was made. If Japan could not secure its resources through negotiation, it would do so by force. At the center of the plan stood Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, commander of the Japanese Combined Fleet. Yamamoto was no reckless warmonger. He had studied in the United States and understood American industrial power and resolve. He warned Japan's leadership that a war with the United States would be long and dangerous. Japan, he believed, could dominate the Pacific for 6 months, perhaps a year. After that, he had no confidence in victory. His strategy reflected this grim assessment. If war was unavoidable, Japan would strike first, delivering a blow so severe that it might force the United States to negotiate. Pearl Harbor was chosen because it was the heart of American naval power in the Pacific. Destroy the battleships, cripple the fleet, and Japan would be free to expand southward without immediate interference. The plan was refined in secrecy. Pilots trained extensively for low-level torpedo attacks in shallow water. New torpedoes were developed with wooden fins to prevent them from diving too deep. Intelligence was gathered on ship movements, harbor defenses, and daily routines. At 6 o'clock on the morning of December 7th, Japanese pilots received the final order to attack. One by one, aircraft lifted off the carrier decks into the pale morning sky. The first wave consisted of more than 180 planes, including torpedo bombers, dive bombers, and fighters. They flew south in silence, navigating by compass and landmarks, descending toward Oahu as the sun rose behind them. At 7:48 a.m. local time, the first bombs fell. The attack achieved complete surprise. Torpedoes slammed into the hulls of American battleships with devastating force. Bombs tore through hangars and airfields, destroying aircraft before they could take off. Explosions echoed across the harbor. Smoke and fire rose into the sky. Many American sailors initially believed the explosions were part of an exercise or an accident. Within minutes, that illusion vanished. Battleship Row became a scene of chaos and destruction. The USS Oklahoma was struck by multiple torpedoes in rapid succession. She rolled violently and capsized in less than 15 minutes, trapping hundreds of sailors inside her hull. The USS West Virginia was hit repeatedly and settled on the harbor bottom, burning fiercely. The USS California slowly filled with water and sank at her moorings. Nearby, the USS Nevada attempted to get underway, becoming a symbol of resistance as she moved through the harbor under heavy attack before being deliberately grounded to prevent her from sinking in the channel. The most catastrophic moment came aboard the USS Arizona. A bomb penetrated her forward deck and detonated in the ammunition magazine. The explosion was immense. The ship was torn apart in seconds. Flames and debris shot hundreds of feet into the air. More than 1,100 men were killed almost instantly. Burning oil spilled across the harbor, igniting the water and setting nearby vessels ablaze. Above the harbor, American pilots scrambled desperately. Some managed to reach their aircraft and take off under fire. A handful engaged the attackers in uneven dogfights, often outnumbered and outgunned. Most American planes, however, were destroyed on the ground. Anti-aircraft fire intensified as crews rushed to their guns, firing at low-flying aircraft weaving between ships and buildings. Amidst the destruction, acts of courage were everywhere. Sailors entered burning compartments to rescue comrades. Others carried the wounded through smoke-filled decks. Damage control parties fought fires and flooding, often without clear orders, relying on training and instinct. Medics treated the injured in makeshift stations, working relentlessly as the attack continued. Less than an hour after it began, the first wave ended. A second wave followed shortly after, striking again at ships, airfields, and military installations. This phase focused on destroying remaining aircraft and infrastructure. By mid-morning, the attack was over. In just under 2 hours, the Japanese had inflicted devastating damage. 8 American battleships were sunk or heavily damaged. Nearly 200 aircraft were destroyed. More than 2,400 Americans were dead, with over 1,000 wounded. Japanese losses were light by comparison, fewer than 20 aircraft and about 60 men. Despite the destruction, Pearl Harbor was not the decisive victory Japan had hoped for. The American aircraft carriers were not in port that day. Fuel depots, dry docks, and submarine facilities were largely untouched. Many of the damaged ships would later be repaired and returned to service. What could not be repaired was the sense of security Americans had felt before that morning. News of the attack spread rapidly across the United States. Radio broadcasts interrupted regular programming. Newspapers rushed out extra editions. Shock quickly turned to anger and determination. On December 8th, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt addressed Congress, calling December 7th a date which will live in infamy. He described the attack as sudden and deliberate, carried out while diplomatic negotiations were still underway.
Congress declared war on Japan almost unanimously. Within days, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, transforming a regional conflict into a truly global war. Pearl Harbor ended American isolation in a single morning. The nation mobilized on an unprecedented scale. Factories were converted to wartime production. Millions of men and women entered military service. The Pacific War would stretch across vast oceans and countless islands, marked by brutal fighting and enormous sacrifice. Naval warfare itself was transformed. Battleships, once symbols of dominance, gave way to aircraft carriers and air power as the decisive forces at sea.
For Japan, Pearl Harbor marked the beginning of a path that led to eventual defeat. The attack bought time, but failed to destroy American industrial strength or resolve. Yamamoto's warning proved accurate. By 1942 and 1943, battles such as Midway and Guadalcanal halted and reversed Japanese expansion. The long war of attrition favored the United States and its allies. Today, Pearl Harbor remains a place of memory and reflection. The wreck of the USS Arizona still lies beneath the water, a war grave for those who never escaped. The attack stands as one of the most studied events in military history, not only for its tactical execution, but for its strategic consequences. In less than 2 hours, the course of the 20th century shifted. A nation was awakened, a world was drawn deeper into war, and history took a path from which there was no return.